What's up, everybody? It's been a minute since my last video, and I apologize. I've just been really overwhelmed with my full-time job and my side work, and I haven't had a lot of time to do a lot of shooting and editing. But I think I may have found the answer to that problem in the sponsor of today's video and a new tool that they introduced to me called AutoCut. AutoCut is a plugin for Premiere Pro and DaVinci Resolve, and it's a suite of tools meant to change your workflow, to speed up your editing, and to help you avoid mistakes. And we're going to find out just how much time it can save by revisiting a video that I shot of my dad about 4 years ago. See, he loved to tell stories, and I wanted to capture those stories before he passed away. So we sat down for about an hour and filmed a bunch of them. It wasn't all of them. I was hoping to do multiple sessions, but I didn't get that opportunity because he passed away about 3 months later. So I'm lucky I got what I did. Unfortunately, at the time, I kind of rushed through the edit because editing isn't always fun, is it? It's kind of repetitive and just a little bit boring. So I figured it was time to revisit it and give it the love it deserves and see how quickly we can do it. I have a feeling we're going to be able to get 90% of the way to the edit of that 30-minute plus video in the amount of time it takes to watch this video. So if you're ready for that, let's dig right in. So here's the timeline of the interview with my dad. I've already prepared it. I've got the clips aligned, I've got the audio normalized, and I've done some basic color grading. Now we want to jump in, and I'm going to look at 4 of the tools in AutoCut. So AutoCut is a whole suite of tools, but it's more than just a tool. If you embrace it, it's going to be a shift in your workflow. You're going to think about the way you do things completely differently. After you install AutoCut, you access it in DaVinci by going up to Workspace, Scripts, and then AutoCut. And if you ever forget that, you can just open the AutoCut app on your computer, and it will tell you how to access it in both Premiere and DaVinci. And this is probably a good time to mention that AutoCut is one of the only AI plugins out there that will work with both the studio version and the free version of DaVinci Resolve. So you don't need to have the studio version to use this. When you open it, you're going to be presented with this screen. The first thing we want to do is make sure our timeline is open, and then we're going to come up here and click AutoCut Silences. Now, when you open that up, you're going to be presented with a screen that has all of the audio tracks on your timeline. And since I'm only using audio track 1, I'm going to deselect the other one. I want to click entire timeline because I want to use the whole thing. And then I'm going to click validate sections. Then what I want to do for the noise threshold, in this case, I'm going to set it to minus 44 decibels. I've already tested it to find the best setting, but I would recommend that you click Calculate by AI and let it go through. It'll analyze the track really quick and then set the level for you. There will be several sections here that I will speed up because the AI does take some time to analyze the clips, and I know you don't want to sit through that, but really it doesn't take that long. All right, so once it's done analyzing, it will set the appropriate decibel level. Now you have a few presets that you can use for how quickly you want it to find silences and cut them out. You can have calm, you can have measured, which is what I prefer here, paced, energetic, and jumpy. And the further you get to the right, the quicker those cuts are going to be. Then you can have it completely remove the silences, you can have it keep the silences, you could just mute the silences, or you can remove the silences but keep those spaces. I'm going to have it remove the silences. And I'm also, for transitions, I'm going to do none. In this case, that's what is going to work the best for me, but you could do J cuts, L cuts, or overlaps. You can also go down and adjust all the settings manually if you prefer not to use a preset, but I'm going to use the measured preset, and we're going to click Cut and Delete Silences. Boom, finished. It does ask you to rate it every time. It tells you how much time you saved. AutoCut Silences finished in, there you go, 19 seconds. 19 seconds was all it took, and that saved me 13 minutes of manually making cuts. I have a feeling, knowing me, it probably saved me more like 26 minutes. So we'll close that. We'll move AutoCut to another monitor so it's out of the way, and let's give it a quick play. We'll start right here where I know he starts talking.
Okay. Hi, this is the wild and crazy hillbilly. I guess I'm here today to tell some of my wild and crazy hillbilly stories.
Pretty impressive, right? Now, I think the feature that impresses me the most is the AutoChapters feature, because when you finish a video and you put it on YouTube, you want to create chapters. And I've tried using Claude to create chapters. I've tried using Gemini to create chapters, and they just don't feel right to me. It either creates too many, it doesn't create enough, it's just not giving me exactly what I want. So let's jump into AutoChapters here and see if it can do better than Claude. Again, we're going to select the entire timeline. We're going to deselect the second audio track and click Validate Sections. And there are 3 levels that you can choose from for how many chapters you want. You can do the default, you can have fewer, or you can have more. I'm just going to leave it at default and see what we get. You have your language selection up at the top. You have 2 options here, so it can create timeline markers for you, so you have the chapters marked in your timeline. And then you can create the YouTube ready chapters, which is what I'm really excited about, so we want to make sure we have that checked as well. There is an option you can turn on right here to give it some more instruction, but I'm just going to leave it as is here, and we're going to click Generate Chapters. Now this one does take a little bit longer because it has to transcribe all the audio and analyze it, so we will speed this one up, but you will see how much time it actually took when it finishes. And there you go. That took about 3 minutes, and it generated a total of 19 chapters. I can choose the marker color for DaVinci Resolve that I want, and I can go in here and edit a title if I want. So, Escaping the Angry Bull, Escaping the Big Black Bull, because those are the words that he used in the video itself. You can also go in and edit a transcript if you need to, if there's a spelling error. And then when we're done, we're just going to hit Add Chapters. Now for YouTube, we're going to want to hit Copy to Clipboard and then paste that in a text editor somewhere, so that when we're writing our final description, we can just paste that right into YouTube, and then our chapters will be there. Now, the final 2 features that I want to go over are those that we are going to use to promote our longer video and create the more viral moments, and we're going to start that process with the AutoViral feature. We click AutoViral, again, choose Entire Timeline, deselect the second audio track that we're not using, and hit Validate Sections. We'll choose our language, we'll set a range for the length that we want the clips to be, and then we can choose a style. We can choose default, which is just going to give us about anything that it thinks could be viral. I'm going to go with humor because my dad was a funny guy, and we're going to hit Find Viral Clips. Again, this is going to take a little time because it's analyzing the transcript using AI to find what it thinks is the funniest moments in the video. Okay, so when that finishes, you're going to get a variety of clips. Looks like I have 10 here, and it's pretty cool because it gives them each a score, a viral score. So the total viral score for this first one is 97. The hook, the introduction, it gives a score of 93. So following current trends seems to get 100, engagement gets 100, and emotions gets 97. That all makes total sense because my dad was somebody that could talk about selling toilet paper to somebody and you would be engaged in the story. So let's see. We got 1, 2 at 97, a couple at 95, a couple at 91 and 87. As it gets lower and it thinks it's less likely to be viral, it's going to turn all those scores orange. But, I mean, it can't hurt. It's just creating timelines. So let's just select all and generate. And here you go. Took 20 seconds to do that, and it saved me 18 minutes. But like I said, in my life, it probably saved me more like 36 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and close this out. Let's take a look. It creates a new folder called AutoCut, and then inside that, it puts the AutoViral clips. So we can just click on one, and we can play it through.
And from where the bus dropped me off, I had to walk at least 1.5 miles up the darkest holler you ever wanted to walk in, by 2 cemeteries and a pasture with a big black bull in it, which is another story. So the bus drops me off and I start to walk home. And I kept getting a little bit faster and a little bit faster. And I heard this whoosh, 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 whoosh. And I stopped and it stopped. Now I'm by the cemetery. I know ghosts make some pretty weird noises. So I took off again and I'm going to walk a little bit faster. And I heard this whoosh, 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 whoosh. Now I'm starting to get afraid. So I said, to heck with this, I'm going to run. So I took off running. I'm 10 years old. I took off running, and this, whatever it was still behind me. And the faster I would go, the faster it would go. I finally made it home without having a heart attack. And I go in the house, and my papa, he was my grandfather, God bless him, he says, "Why are you so tired?" I said, "Papa, there's something chasing me."
That's perfect. I don't know if AutoCut did this on purpose, but it even left a cliffhanger there at the end because the story wasn't quite finished, which I think is a great technique when you're using a short to promote a longer video. So kudos to AutoCut if that was on purpose. We're not going to go through all 10 of these right now because I want to jump into the final feature, which is AutoCut Captions. To demonstrate AutoCaptions, I'm going to use the same viral clip to start the process. We're going to click the AutoCaptions button. We're going to again select entire timeline. I'm going to deselect the second audio track since I'm not using it. I probably could just delete the track at this point, but it is what it is. And then we're going to click Validate Sections. From here, we can either import an SRT file that we've already got, or we can just let AutoCut do its thing. So we're going to select our language at the top, which is English, and then we're going to click the Open Caption Editor, Save and Transcription button at the bottom. Now, out of the box, AutoCut has 4 caption preset styles that you can start with. There is a community presets button here that you can click on to get presets from the community as well, and you can also delete presets. But I tend to like the Kai preset, so I'm going to select that one. We can go, though, and edit the style if we want, so we could click the Edit Style button, and we have the ability to change the font. I'm going to switch that to a font that I use a lot called Outfit. And we will go with bold. And you'll notice as you're making these modifications that you can see a preview up at the top. So next button, we can modify the animation style if we want. So we can change the color of the text that's inside the highlight. If we wanted that to be like a light teal, for example, but I like white, so I'm going to stick with white. We can make the font bigger when it's highlighted if we want, and we can change the color of the text box. So if I want that box to be yellow, we can go with that, but I like the orange, so let's get an orange back. And then you can change the padding both horizontally and vertically, the opacity of the box, etc. But I'm going to leave those at the default setting. Next is the transition, and that is going to be when each new line comes in, whether it zooms in, blurs in, or both, or neither one. So you can see here in the example, every time that the line restarts from the beginning, you're getting a sample of what that's going to look like. Then we can change the text format. We can have it remove any punctuation. We can put it in all caps, which it currently is. We can make it italic if we want. From there, we can give the text an outline. But I prefer the default style again, so I'm going to restore that. And finally, we can add a text box. This is going to help with visibility if you want the white text, for example, but you have a very bright background and it doesn't show up very well. That's a case where you might want to turn on the box and mess with the settings here a little bit to get it the way you like it. But in this case, I don't think we need that either. So I'm going to turn that off, and we're going to hit Apply Style. Then the second thing that we need to do, if you notice in the little sample here, it looks like The text is kind of off the bottom of the screen, so we're going to go into position and size, and we are going to move the Y position, bring that up just a bit, and I think the text size is okay. We could modify it, and we can make it considerably smaller. Actually, right about there looks good. I want to keep it at one line. I want the maximum width to be 80%. And then a really cool feature is platform safeguards. So if you know you're uploading this to a platform like YouTube, you can come in and select these different options, and it's going to show you the safe zones for that platform in that format. And the cool thing is you can add more than one, and they're cumulative. So if you know it's going to be on all these different platforms, you can now add all of them and find the safe space where you only have to export this video one time. Or you could go individually and just export a different video for each platform. In this particular case, I would upload this only to YouTube, and I'm not going to upload this as a short in a wide format. So I would just select YouTube. And if I'm selecting just YouTube and not the YouTube vertical format, the settings that we have now are currently in the safe zone. So I'm going to hit Apply Style. And then the final thing that you can do is go through your transcript here, and if you find any spelling or grammatical errors of any kind, you can hit the Edit Transcript button, and you could make those modifications here and save it. Finally, you have the option to merge nearby captions, and what this is going to do is just make reading the captions a little easier on the viewer when there is a little bit of silence that separates some of the captions. I don't think I'm going to need that in this case, so I'm going to hit the Add Captions button. And that took, as you can see, about 18 seconds and literally saved 25 minutes by clicking a couple buttons. We're going to close that, slip AutoCut out of the way, and let's give it a test.
And from where the bus dropped me off, I had to walk at least 1.5 miles up the darkest holler you ever wanted to walk in, by 2 cemeteries and a pasture with a big black bull in it, which is another story. So the bus drops me off and I start to walk home. And I kept getting a little bit faster and a little bit faster. And I heard this whoosh, 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 whoosh. And I stopped and it stopped.
There is one more feature of AutoCut I want to show you, and I think it's probably my favorite feature, even though it's not one of the main tools in the suite. But it's very helpful, especially as you're learning how to use the plugin. So I'm going to show you that by clicking on the profanity filter because I haven't used it yet. But the first time you click on any of the tools in AutoCut, you're presented with this screen right here that has a usually 1 to 1.5 minute video showing you quickly and in detail how to use that part of AutoCut. I think that's amazing. I think every piece of software that's out there should follow their lead and include this kind of instruction, because I probably would have spent twice as long learning how to use this if it hadn't been there. And that's it. Those 4 tools from that editing suite probably saved me at least 3 or 4 hours of editing time. I'm impressed. Are you impressed? If you are, you can get a 14-day free trial by clicking the link in the description below. And make sure you use the link in the description. It'll help the channel out a little bit by letting AutoCut know that I'm the one that sent you. That's it for today. Until next time, let's make some motion.